It's time for news you can use. Welcome back to the show. We're here with more news that you can use. And tonight, we've got a wonderful show for you because it is news you can use with the remarkable Doctor of News You Can Use, Dr. Lotus Riche, is coming your way with news you can use. Come on, let's get it, y'all. Welcome, the remarkable Dr. Lotus Riche and the lymphologist, queen of the lymphatic valves, Pastor Hillary Gooden, as we bring to you more news. Woo! Let's go, y'all. Hey, woo! All right, let's go. Hey, ho, hey, ho. Look, Mom, no jacket tonight. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more news you could use. I'm your girl, Dr. Lotus Riche, and what can I say tonight is that I've got a fantastic lineup tonight, and I say that because we're all lined up. I have a fantastic lineup. Hillary has a fantastic lineup, and guess who's back? Dr. Make Stuff Up. Mary Jo, you know Dr. Make Stuff Up is back. She's got a wonderful lineup. You see us all in the line over there, right here. And we've got a phenomenal guest, LaNell's Silverstein. You may say Silverstein, and I really don't mind, but just make sure you get it right when she comes on the show, because we don't want her to boop, boop, boop. You know what I'm talking about. It rhymes with Silverstein. So anyway, tonight when you come in, I always say, go ahead, come in and get in where you fit in, but get your notepad and pen, because I always say, note takers are money makers and note takers are change makers. But here's the thing. You can't just take notes. You've got to take the notes. You've got to see how they apply to your life, and you've got to take action. And tonight we're going to talk about communication, leadership, and you, because here's the thing. How you communicate with you is a lot of the ways of how you communicate with the world. So come on in and get in where you fit in, and tell your friends and tell your frenemies to come on in, because we've got more news you can use. And look, I'm going backstage to get Hill. And when I go backstage to get Hill, y'all got to get really, really real. And so we've got someone that's been flying. She's been moving. She's been doing everything. But she came to the show tonight to help us help our folks as we talk about communication, leadership, and you. And so I know that you know this lady. So would you do us the honors to introduce our guest?
Yes, so it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. LaNell's Silverstein, who is the founder and CEO of Mind Equity International. And she is a phenomenally successful businesswoman. And she's here to talk to us about how communication and leadership are so integral to your success in your career and in your life. So without further ado, should we get LaNell?
Let's do it. Right. She's a bad mamma jamma. Let's bring her on out now. With LaNell's Silverstein, come out to the stage. Woo woo!
Welcome back to bringing the energy, that's for sure. And I gotta say, it's
glad to have you.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I can only speak for me, but you have to ask the other two ladies how they're doing too.
Well, they look like they're doing really good.
They do, don't they? Oh God. Yeah, the hair is blazing too, by the way. The hair is blazing. Everybody looks so cute tonight. They're so beautiful. Go ahead. So look, LaNell, we're happy to have you here tonight. And you know, Dr. Make Stuff Up. She didn't make no stuff up when she introduced you. So tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, my name's LaNell's Silverstein, and I am a mother and a grandmother, and I've been married for over 41 years now. And I have spent 30 plus years in the mortgage lending industry. And I have had developed some very successful teams. And I just loved working with everyone and helping them get to what their dreams were, what their goals were, and then of course meeting the company's goals too. And so I decided that that's what I wanted to do. My favorite part of what I was doing in the corporate world is what I wanted to do for myself and, you know, for private clients. And so now I work with companies to help them develop thriving cultures, to learn how to lead, not manage. I have a thing that if I was to look at you and say, or have somebody look at me and say, how would you like to be managed? I would say, don't, just don't. But I would like to be supported. I would like to be led. I would like to be mentored, but not managed. You know, we manage tasks, not people. And so I decided to create my own company. And my middle daughter actually came up with the name of the company because when you're in lending and real estate, you've got equity, right? Yes. And so the company name is Mind Equity because we have so much inside us that we don't tap into. And my goal is to help people tap into it, to figure out what it is that they really want, what the vision is for their life, and then to sit down and look at what their values are. And then create that vision within those values, and then you can start creating an action plan to go with it. A lot of people want to just go out there and create action, but they need to do first things first.
Right.
So that's a little. I work with clients one-on-one. I work with companies. Yes, I enjoy training. And you and I discussed, we utilize assessments like DISC and Strength Finders and Energy Leadership Index. I love using those.
Exactly. So I think it was some strength finding stuff that was just trying to pop up because you coming in and you dropping the mic, you dropping jewels, you dropping nuggets. You are just doing the thing. Hill, what can we say other than to put her in the hot seat?
Okay.
Well, you know, we got a brand new hot seat. The last one we had got demolished, but you know what? We got a brand new one, and you're the first one to get in this hot seat.
Woo-hoo! Yes. So yes, viewers, if you want to see LaNell in the hot seat, go ahead and put an H in the comment block below because I'm going to pass the mic over to Hill, and she's gonna do what she knows about how to put LaNell in the hot seat. Hill is the real deal.
All right, question. I got a question for you, Dr. LaNell.
Oh, okay.
If communication is so critical to leadership and business, why isn't there enough communication in this today?
Well, actually, I think that there is a lot of communication in business today. It's just not necessarily the right communication in business. You know, we are always communicating whether we mean to or not. Before we even open our mouth, how we show up, how we sit, you know, our shoulders back, are they slumped forward? Are we like this? That all says something about us. The tone that we use, that says something too. So we're always communicating. The thing in business is most of the time we're not communicating what we mean to because we're not being intentional.
Thought that seat was going to be hot. What happened?
Great answer.
Great answer. Survey says. Woo! So we're going right to the next
great answer.
Yes, it's a great answer. We're going to the next person that's going to keep you in the hot seat. Doctor makes stuff up. And she might make stuff up, something up too, in conjunction with this question. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. We're like trying to get the hot seat going now. So LaNell, why do leaders need to be effective communicators?
Well, if you want a specific result, then you need to be able to communicate what the result is that you're looking for. And if you're a leader, you know how to do that. You've practiced it. You start with that intention. You think of what's the end result that I want, and you work backwards. And then when you're communicating, you verify that the person you were communicating with heard what you intended to communicate. You know, you can say, okay, I just, did all this talking or communicating, and I want to ensure that what I meant, and you take it on yourself, that what I meant to communicate is what you heard. So could you give me some feedback here? What did you hear me saying? Because in a meeting, I could have, several people in a meeting, and if I'm only communicating one way, because we all communicate a little bit different, we have different behavioral styles, communication styles, and if I only communicate one way, that means everybody else in the room that had different communication styles didn't get it. And if I'm not verifying that they understood what my intention was, when they walk out the door, everybody's going to be going in different directions. Because they ran it through their filter. They literally heard something different.
Wow. That's some good stuff right there.
Yeah.
That's some smoking juice right there. That's some smoking juice. And here's a thing that I wanted to jump in, LaNell, very quickly, because I do that. I ask, especially my team members, what did you hear me say? Because a lot of times it is about perception. Mm-hmm. And so those viewers out there, hi, we're happy to have you guys here. I want to pose this to our viewers. How often do you ask a person, what did they hear you say? So that you're sure that there is clarity across the board. How often do you do that during the week? 1 being not so much, 5 being pretty frequent, and 10 being all the time. 1 being not so much, 5 being frequent, and 10 being all the time. So how often do you clarify with people to make sure they've really heard you? Because that was some good juice that you just dropped.
Yeah.
I love it. So I put the viewers in the hot seat. Now I'm going right back to put you back in the hot seat. And I want to ask you this question. We're going to pause for the calls. We're going to take a break. I love setting it up like this. I love it, y'all. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and let LaNell answer this. What traits are most important for a skilled leader as far as communication is concerned? Okay. And then when you come back and answer that, I'm going to add a little juicy morsel to the end of that. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, folks, and we're going to come right back. So hold tight and just, don't go nowhere, because we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere, but you could share this with someone you care about, know, and love. So take 30 seconds, share this with someone you know and love. We'll be right back. Wow. We are back. And I want to say hi to everybody that's jumping in. So I'm going to say hi to Angela. She is here with us from DC, and she says, welcome back, Mary Jo. Woo, woo. All right. And so who else do we have, Hill?
Oh, we got Murphy saying hi. She's coming all the way from Africa. She's up late to watch this.
Yes.
Hey, Shirley.
Woo, woo. And look who's in Branson, Missouri, checking out the show. Jill Jacobs Reynolds. Great to see you, Braveheart. All right. And she said Hillary rocks. Yes, she does. And who else do we have? Dr. Make Stuff Up. Don't make nothing up, though.
You've got Camille Robb. You say, hey, ladies, I'm blessed and doing just fabulous and zooming from Florida.
All right. And let's
Hello, Camille.
Florida.
Hey, Camille. let's put LaNell in the hot seat. Who we have, LaNell? Who we got?
That's Maria Nemeth. Oh, I said her name wrong for so many years that she never corrected me until just recently. Anyway, she's a lovely lady. She's a doctor of psychology and has her own company called ACE Training. And I just love her. She is just such a wonderful person. And she said, so glad to be here. And she said she loves me. So thank you. Oh, now
right.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Right. And guess what? She knows how to come in the house because she let us know that she's coming in from Sacramento. Yeah. And guess what? We have got, oh yeah, you see, I'm double duty. But she did say, I love LaNell. She just loves you. And she said she sent this, I guess, listen to her Pearson. And then we have Desiree Hammond is here. Good to see you, Desiree Hammond. She said 5 to 6 times. Okay, because we talked about how often do we seek for clarity in our message when we convey to people. So Shirley said 5. So that's pretty good. She does it frequently. Maria, that's a little bit below 5, but it's still frequent. So that's good. That's good. And then Camille said, I have to ask because I deal with students. Now, many of you, I know, Hill, you have been involved with students. Exactly. And Dr. Money, that Dr. Make Stuff Up, knows as well. So what number did Angie choose? Dr. Make Stuff Up?
She came in at a 7.
7.
More so frequent. Yeah, she's the most frequent so far.
Yep. So do you guys want us to tell y'all how often we do that? Dr. Money That Folds and Dr. Make Stuff Up. If you can guess how often we do that within the week, you know, I would like to say that. What you guys think? How good of communicators do you think we are? So I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds and go ahead and rate each of us. For Hillary, put an H and then how often you think she does it. It can be 1 time a month. Oh, 1 time a month. That's not good. 1 time a week, which is not so great. 5 times is pretty good. And 10 is fantastic. And same thing with Dr. Make Stuff Up, as well as Dr. Ignite and Take Flight. You got 30 minutes. Do what you like. All right, folks. How many times do you think Dr. Make Stuff Up and Dr. Money That Folds clarify with folks? How about Dr. Ignite and Take Flight? I don't know, but you guys tell us. We want to know. Let us know. Vote for LaNell. Okay, let me take that off the screen. So we've got some.
Yeah, I want to add her. I want to add her. I want people to say how often they think LaNell clarifies.
Yeah, you saw somebody had put vote for LaNell. I don't Angie says she asked verbally and writing. She asked both verbally and in writing. And Camille said Hillary 5. Maria, she said 8 across the board. We just love you, Maria. We're gonna have to buy you lunch when we see you. And Angie said at least 5 to 6 times. Angie, is that across the board? Is that, oh, she said for everyone. See, she knows what's going on. And Camille said what? Dr. Make Stuff Up. What did Camille say?
She's got me at a 5.
That's right. And what did Camille say again, Miss Hillary?
Dr. Lotus Riche.
7.
All right. LaNell, we got a Tina. What does she say?
She's saying 10.
All right. So I have a message for you again, LaNell. I'm keeping you in the hot seat. What did this young lady say?
LaNell is 10 for sure. I've seen her in action.
All right, fantastic. So give it up. Let's give it up for ourselves because we all did 5, 6, 7 or better. And so that's great. So that's great. So that's a good thing. So LaNell, I want to ask you this because this is a huge part of communication that a lot of people don't talk about. And I learned this a few years ago when I was teaching over in Japan about full body listening. What are your thoughts about full body listening when it comes to communication and leadership?
Okay, you want to repeat the question again? I get the full body listening, but what was the first part?
What is your thoughts about full body listening as it relates to leadership? And why do we have to do it?
If someone is communicating and they're not congruent with themselves, the receiver is confused. You know, a lot of times you'll be talking with someone and you'll think that something just isn't quite right and you're not sure what they're saying makes sense to you, but there's just something not quite right. And it's because we pick up on little, and it can be just an instant physical display, and they're not being congruent. So we know that they're not being truthful.
Right.
And they may not be being truthful with themselves. They don't even realize it. They just get into a habit of, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. And yet I don't believe it. You know, it could be where you can look at somebody and they're in a conversation looking at each other, but their feet are turned away. They're not open or facing forward. Their feet are turned away. So I have a saying that the body always tells the truth, even though the mouth lies. And because those feet are demonstrating that they really want to get away from this person. You know, they're not full on this way. They're kind of turned this way, which means hurry up, finish. I got to go. And people pick up on it, even though they may not realize it. I had a team member once that had to have a difficult conversation with the client, and the client was the one that, if you're going to say was out of line, was the one that was out of line on a request that they had. And so I told, the teammate, I go, here's what you want to do. Here's how you want to handle it. And then, she went to her desk, and when I walked by, her body language was like this, and she's like, I'm sorry. And it's like, no. And as I walked by, I pushed her shoulders back because our body and our minds they're connected. And if we stand up straight, we feel more confident. If we're like this, we don't. And anyway, she got it right after a moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we've got a question from one of our viewers. So, and I think it belongs to you, LaNell.
Okay. Oh, what is full? I guess full on body listening. For me, when I'm talking to somebody, it means that I'm 100% present with them. I am looking at them for clues of whether they're understanding what I'm saying, if they're engaged with me. I'm just paying attention to everything, their tone, their body language, and the words that they're saying. And I've even had conversations where just for a minute, I've seen a look just kind of pass by, and I'll stop and say, did what I just said make sense? And it's okay if they didn't. It means I didn't explain it correctly. And they'll say, no, I didn't get it. But if I wasn't paying attention, I would just keep on going. Right.
So that, in my opinion, is where we look and we're really looking for the vernacular. Not vernacular, but the affect. That's the word. The affect of how, the person is coming across to us. Because I think you said something earlier about the mouth can say one thing, but the behavior, the actions really tell the real truth about it.
Correct.
And that's where I always see myself. And Hillary, as a pastor, she deals with people all the time. And Hill, I want to kick the mic over to you and ask you, when you are talking to your parishioners or even your clients, you know, how does it make you feel when you see one thing on their face, but they're saying something else? And then I'd like if you could kick the mic down to Dr. Make Stuff Up. And she's not going to make no stuff up. She's going to tell us the real nitty gritty.
Well, you know, thank you. And I like this question a lot because this I found was really key when I was the CFO in corporate world. And I remember a manager that I had working with me. And I started to see when I was learning her after she had been hired, you know, she was somebody that was new. And it takes time to get to know a person, how they process things and how their, you know, how their mind kind of works, so to speak. And I began to notice that when I would call her into a meeting and the people that worked as that she was over, like she was over the everyday operations. And so sometimes I would call all in my office for a stand-up, pop-up kind of meeting. And she would come in, the staff would come in, and when she would come in, I noticed she would do this. And I thought, what is that? And as time went on, you know, I said, it's something about her confidence. And when I would ask her questions, she wouldn't really answer. And then one of the staff would jump in and they'd be, you know, answering stuff until I had to pull her and talk to, you know, find out why do you do? You know, she said, I don't do that. I was like, yeah, you do it every time I ask you a question, you do this. And it's like shutting her mouth, closing her mouth, not, you know, I guess afraid to answer wrong or whatever. But it took some time of just being patient with her and giving her space to grow her capacity to be greater, you know. And over time, I saw she wasn't, and it just made me feel really good, you know, that we'll finally come to a place that was more congruent. I think I heard that word a few times tonight, you know, and it just made business easier. And it's just like when, as far as people in ministry, you know, I always encounter, even as a lymphologist, sometimes I'm talking about things that people are not familiar with. And so I'm always looking for those looks that they have to stop and ask them, well, you still look like you have a question. You look like you don't understand, or let me know, you know, before I just keep going on and on and on. And then they'll walk away saying, okay, and still don't get it, you know. So it's really important in my field to stop and make sure people are understanding, or to address questions that they're not asking, because I saw it in their body, in your body language and all. Okay, so Mary Jo, don't make nothing up.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with everything everyone has been saying so far.
Again.
And what I want to also add is that, you know, part of why full body listening is so important is because everybody, whether it's a one-on-one conversation or a group conversation, everybody is reading each other's energy, whether they know it or not. And that, you know, people, you know, will entrain to whoever is, you know, sort of the most powerful energy. And that can be sometimes the person who's actually silently in dissent, let's say, you know. So if you're a leader and you're trying to communicate something, and you've got someone in the group kind of going, like, rolling their eyes and being like, you know, it's like everyone in the group knows that person isn't in agreement, whether they're saying it or not. You know, so really being able to manage that is important.
Yeah, and that's true. And Angie shared something that's really interesting. And she said even silence is important in great communication. And that's kind of what you're saying too, Dr. Make Stuff Up. And I thought you was going to make stuff up. That's why I flashed it. She's done it again, but you didn't make no stuff up. But Angie said, how beneficial is the use of silence in communication? And I think that's a great question, Angie, and thank you for asking that. So I want to go ahead and kick the mic back over to LaNell and put her back in the hot seat again, because this is her area of expertise. So how beneficial is the use of silence in communication, LaNell?
Well, it's extremely beneficial, and it can be in different ways. It depends on what it is that you're wanting to communicate. I will say my children, as they were growing up, they never got spanked. And the reason they didn't get spanked is because if they did something that I felt was stepping out of line, apparently I got some form of look. I didn't have to say a word. I would just have an expression. And my children to this day, they say they never wanted to find out what was on the other side of that expression. So, that can be one way to use silence. Another way to use silence is if you're communicating with someone, it's a two-way street. Right. So if you're asking a question, then you need to, just shut up and let them answer. Don't be thinking, I'm going to interrupt them. I want them to take a breath so I can jump back in and prove how great I am. And because that conversation, when you walk away, you think, oh, I was so great. And the other person walks away thinking, man, that person's such a jerk. But you really, I have a thing that when you're in conversation with someone, you want to show up curious. Because if you show up curious, you're not in judgment. You can't be curious and be judgmental at the same time. You don't have a preconceived judgment about that person, that conversation. But if you show up curious, you're going to ask questions, and then you're going to sit back and listen to the answer because you're curious about what the answer truly is. And then that person begins to feel important. And because most people don't listen, they're not engaged in a conversation. I've had people, I had a friend who came by once and to visit me after I'd had a surgery. She actually had 2 cell phones where she would pick them up in the middle of conversation. And I would actually just stop talking and sit there for a little while. And it was a habit that she had developed, and it's a bad habit, that we have when we're attached to that. So really being curious, paying attention, listening. If you're building a team, you're finding out the strengths, the goals, the desires of that person. And then when you're starting to put the team together, you know where they fit on the bus. And when you are listening to people and giving them your attention, you're building rapport. And over time, they want to support you, in addition to themselves.
That's right.
Long answer.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, great answer though. Really great answer, because it really does take a bit of self-control, especially when we're passionate about something that we're talking about. And I think many of us have been right where you described. We're jumping in, and I know I've been guilty of it, and sometimes still am guilty of it because I'm so excited and I'm so passionate. But what I'm hearing you say is, we have to really practice the patience in communication, because sometimes when we don't practice that patience in communication, the person can feel cut off, like they don't matter, like you're just trying to be the glory hog, and it could really hurt the line of communication and even hurt the relationship. And so I want to kick the mic back over to Dr. Make Stuff Up and ask you, Doc, have you ever had an instance where you either, were the person that was so excited and you jumped in, or the person that was on the receiving end, and maybe tell us how you felt on either spectrum?
Well, I've definitely been on both. I mean, and so even just from talking with someone, let's say, sometimes letting them talk is really important. And so it's kind of being able to discern. Sometimes people need to vent, they need to, express themselves. And so being able to listen is really important. And, sometimes I've been on the phone with someone and they've talked nonstop for 30 minutes. And at the end, they're just like, oh my God, I love talking to you. You are the best. You have such, great things to say. And I'm like, I said nothing.
Yes.
And then other times you do need to interrupt, because sometimes they're just spinning. And so it's knowing when someone's spinning and when someone is actually expressing themselves, and it's really important for them to be heard. And the other thing about silence is that it gives the other person space to think.
Yeah.
And can I add one thing? I'm interrupting here. It also develops trust. You know, when you go in, you're curious, you're listening, the person gets that opportunity to share and they feel important. You're also developing some trust there too.
Yeah. So I got a question on that. So you said that you're developing some trust. Can you expound on that a little bit? What do you mean when you say that, and how is developing trust really occurring?
Well, when you're having a conversation with someone and they're allowed to speak without being interrupted, they're trusting that you actually care about them as a human being instead of you just caring about you and, you know, what it is, what your agenda is, that you're now open to their agenda. And in that listening and that curiosity part, you've allowed them to tell you things that are important to them. And most people don't get that opportunity to do that. There were times I would go in a restaurant by myself and just sit, eat on purpose, listening to the tables around me and what their conversations were. And it was so interesting because most of the conversations were griping about something or talking about somebody, you know, being gossipy, and or feeling like they were abused. I have a term, it's called victimitis. So they were suffering from victimitis, you know, and I just found it so interesting. Every now and then you would have somebody who would be talking about their children or something fun that they were getting ready to do or an event that they had just been to. But most of it was not productive conversation. And it's not like they were really listening to each other, you know, because one would say something there to go, oh, I know what you mean, and then just take off on their own, you know, little tangent.
Yeah. So Maria says silence also demonstrates respect. And that in and of itself, I think that's a great comment. And thank you so much for sharing that. I also wanted to say that Maria said, you good answers. I love the examples all of you are bringing. And Hill, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, you know, I love this question too, because you said something, Dr. Lotus. You said sometimes a person may tend to, now I can't remember it. I was waiting so long to jump in. But you said something to the effect that you because you're so passionate, you always have an answer, or you always have something else to say. And so I found myself in that place too. And being a leader, I found I do stop. Or see the full body communication from my staff. You know, like if I was talking about something, we did a lot of, I incorporated a lot of communication that was outside of the work, just getting to know, so we could get to know one another. Learn a lot of things about a lot of things. I don't know it all, but you know, and I found myself always having the last word over whatever was said. And I said, I noticed the looks on the faces. I said, I catch myself when I stop doing that and let somebody else be. Let somebody else be the one that was right. I didn't have to trump theirs with more rightness, you know what I mean? And that took me being silent, allowing that truth that was truth all by itself without me adding to it or adding on top of it to have, you know, the last word. And I didn't realize that. But once I did and would be aware, you know, catch myself and just really be intentional to listen and to be okay with somebody else being the one that was right. Oh man, that just really helped our team.
Yeah, I love it.
Really
and Andy said,
so
if looks could kill, if looks could kill, you do get those looks. And I want to say hi to Daisy, my sister. Hey, how you doing?
You do.
And Shirley made a great comment too.
Hey,
Doctor, make stuff up. what is Miss Shirley from Nigeria sharing with us?
Well, she's bringing up eye contact and general body language that shows whether you're a good or poor communicator. Really good point, Shirley.
Awesome, awesome. And if anyone has a question that you want to share with LaNell or share with us, please don't hesitate to put it in the comment. And Maria Silverstein, hey, how you doing? She said, tell the Angela story. So I guess this is your daughter, and she's putting you on the hot seat. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate you. So
okay.
So,
and I'm running through my mind which Angela story, and now I know which one that I'm pretty sure I have the one because we're talking about trust, or I brought up trust.
yes.
I had a team member. She was my top account executive, and she had come into my office and she had shared with me that she was pregnant, and which was very exciting news. But she also said that she absolutely didn't want anybody to know. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's great news, but it's not my business to say, oh, you should tell people or you shouldn't, whatever. And I agreed to keep the, to keep it confidential.
Right.
And then about a week went by, and I was having a conversation with my executive vice president of the company, and things were really crazy in the business at the time, and he wanted to know how everything was going. And he had a special relationship with Angela. And so he asked me, he goes, so how's Angela doing? You know, with all this craziness, how's she doing? Mm-hmm. And I said, she's doing good. I go, she's really doing good. And, you know, I know, you know, she gets a little, you know, emotional once in a while, but that's to be expected because of the hormones in pregnancy. Right. And he went, what? She's pregnant? Awesome. And I'm like, oh no, I am so sorry. I go, I wasn't supposed to say anything. Please don't repeat it. I hope you're better at keeping a secret than I am, because I just broke a trust. Mm-hmm. So I sat in my office and I thought, okay, I have to go tell Angela what I've done. And I got up, I walked out. She was in her cubicle, you know, everybody's around. And I tell her, I have to tell you what I just did. I accidentally, this is what I said, you know, I told my boss that you were pregnant. And she turned around. She has that look too, the same look that I give my children. She turned around, she looked at me with that look, and through gritted teeth, she said, I will never trust you again. Wow. And and there are people around, and they hear her, you know, other employees, and they hear her telling me this, you know, you want the earth to open up and to go in. But I tucked my tail, went back to my office, and we continued to work together. But it was very just professional, not the friendliness that was there before. And so a little bit later, we had our annual Christmas party. Okay, I know some people say holiday party. It was our annual Christmas party, and so all of the teammates, the employees were there, and I always wanted to have spouses there too, or significant others. I didn't want them to be separated. So they're all there. They are all there. My husband's there. So my husband, Angela, her husband, and I are standing there, you know, socializing. And her husband says something to mine about the pregnancy, you know, about Angela being pregnant. And my husband goes, what? She's pregnant? I didn't know that. And they both looked at me, or Angela in particular looked at me, and she goes, you didn't tell him? And I was like, no, I wasn't supposed to tell anybody. You know, the other was truly just a slip. Yeah. And so after that, I mean, instantly she was like, oh, I get it. You weren't just running your mouth off about my pregnancy. It truly was an accident. And to this day, we are really good friends. And she actually is okay with me repeating the story. I have her permission to share the story. Because I did a talk, and it was a Zoom talk training, and she was on there, and she was like, oh yeah, that was true. And it's like, that's me.
Yes. Yeah.
But the important thing is that, you know, sometimes things happen like what that was. And if I'm really stepping into a leadership role or a mentor role, supportive role, I needed to go disclose that
Yes.
I had broken the trust. If for some reason it had ever come out some other way, there would have really been a second breach of trust there. And I don't know that we would have recovered from it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that had to be very scary too, especially in the workplace. And then people are looking at you like, oh God, she's a motor mouth. And I hope I never told her no secrets. That had to be very uncomfortable.
Well,
wow.
and I was in charge of the office. I was the boss of this office, if you want to say that. I mean, I was responsible for that office. So yeah, that would be a real problem.
Oh yeah, okay. But Maria said that demonstrated, being a good leader too, that you were able to do that. And she also said that she loved how we're just being so open and truthful, if you will. And so, Hill, what is Miss Hammond saying?
She says, don't have to trump them more rightness.
Yes. I loved when you said that too. That was great. And Apostle Gooden is on with us as well tonight. And here, I'm going to go here. And Apostle Gooden, Dr. Make Stuff Up or Miss LaNell, either one of you want to go ahead and share with what Apostle Gooden is sharing with us tonight? You can do paper, rock, scissors. It don't matter.
Okay.
Now you go.
I'll go. Okay. Sometimes silence is golden. When a person knows they made a mistake, and I know and everybody got it, yes, silence is good at times like that.
Yeah. Yep. Now, I've got a twist to that question. But when everybody knows there's been a mistake, and sometimes the silence is so thick and it's so unsettling, when is it a good time to really break that silence for the person who may have kind of let out the secret that the person didn't want let out?
Who are you asking me? Or
I was prefacing the question to you, but if it was me, I would put it over to one of them. I put one of them in this hot seat. I would want to get some secret sauce from them. I will vote for somebody, but it's up to you, whatever you like to do.
You know what? I'm going to put Mary Jo on the hot seat.
I love it. Mary Jo, tell us what you know.
Yeah. I would say that as soon as possible. Don't let if everyone knows it, just fess up and acknowledge it so that you can move past it and not let it fester. Because what you ignore and extend, it will expand. It won't. Mm-hmm. It doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, Mary Jo, I've got a question for you because I got a hot seat up there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Hill.
I was going to say sometimes, like, you do need to deal with the situation, but sometimes you need to have like a private over to the side conversation with that person. Exactly. Because just like with Dr. LaNell, it wasn't on purpose; it was a slip, and you just need because I trust me, I have found myself in situations like that were being misunderstood, that maybe in this case it was something that was said that was a slip. Sometimes I found myself in a situation, I was in a real gossipy organization and you know how that thing is, you say something to one person and by the time you hear that thing again, it's not at all what you said or what you mean. And then the person who it's about comes to you. I had a girl, I thought, are we getting ready to fight or what? I had to talk her and calm her down. So, and she kept saying, and I thought I knew you better. And I thought I knew you better. And I said, you do know me better. Yes. I would never say nothing like that. It took me being calm and not because she was escalated to the 100th degree. It took me just staying calm because I hadn't done anything wrong. And she began to calm down, and then she said, you know, I knew that didn't sound like you. I said, you know me better than you do know me better than that.
Yes.
And, and we ended up being okay. But that, she was hot from the tail that had spun itself out of control.
Wow. And viewers, if this has ever happened to you,
not in the
right. So viewers, if this has ever happened to you, some of the descriptions that we've given you, or examples, I should say, that we've given you, go ahead and put a number 7, a 7 in the comment block below, because we want you to know that you are not alone and that this could happen to anyone, but it's really about what you do about it. What you do about it in the moment. And I love that. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. And ladies, we are already at the top of the hour. And that is just like so hard to believe. But we're already at the top of the hour. But we're going to come back and we want to know from you, has that ever happened to you? If so, put a number 7 in the comment block. And if you want to go a step further, if you're not afraid to really be transparent, go ahead and let us know how you dealt with it. How did you deal with that? We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. I like how those things go in and out. It's super.
Can't hear you. You're muted.
Like I was saying, I was talking, y'all, right? And I was feeling so bad because I was like, nobody's communicating with me. But guess what? I wasn't communicating because I was muted. So silence was not golden at that time. So folks, we are back, and we are back tonight with our wonderful guest. She is none other than Miss LaNell's Silverstein. Wait, I won't say it. I was still in Stein. You ain't let me finish because I was saying, and she is here, and she is blowing our mind. We're talking about communication, leadership, and you. And here's some things that you can do to be a better you when it comes to communication and leadership. Make sure you say Silverstein and not Steen, unless she's going to get you. So thank you. So we're back, and I know we're at the top of the hour, but we've got another question for you, LaNell, if you can hang in there with us. And I think that I just said something I miscommunicated. We have 2 questions, and I think Hill's going to ask that one, and then the next one we're going to close out with Dr. Make Stuff Up, and God only knows what she's going to say. Hill?
Okay, Dr. LaNell, what's the greatest communication challenge for leaders?
Is to communicate intentionally. Yeah, absolutely on purpose. Wow. What is it that they want to communicate? I think, and if you're not communicating intentionally, you don't really bear the title of leader, because that's part of leadership. Right. You're still a wannabe leader.
Yeah.
Well, now.
And so what do you mean when you say intentionally?
Say that again. Oh, intentionally. Intentionally is knowing exactly what, in other words, instead of just going out and being, we'll just say your bad self, letting it all hang out, that you're going out with the intention of, what is it that I really want to communicate to my team? Am I wanting to communicate support? Am I wanting to communicate that we need to do a specific task? Or am I wanting to communicate that someone hasn't been their best? They haven't done what they were supposed to do. But just being intentional, knowing why it is that you're communicating, what you want the end result to be.
Wow.
All right.
I want to slip in. Yeah. I want to slip in for a cool minute, because I heard you say, don't be a wannabe leader. What do you mean by that?
Somebody who thinks they're a leader and they're not investing time in developing their skill set. They're not investing time in their communication and doing it on purpose. They just want people to follow them and, and think that they're all that. Where I think my opinion of a true leader is that sometimes they walk in front, sometimes they walk beside, and sometimes they walk behind. Because sometimes you're having to demonstrate the behavior that you want done. Other times you're saying, you've got this, but I'm right here next to you as you move through. And then other times you stand behind and they're the ones that are leading. They have become leaders in and of themselves. And so now you're back here.
Your seat is like cold as ice. That is a definite phone drop. Come on, y'all. Let's drop the phones. I know y'all like, no, this is an I-9. This is a no. I'm not dropping my phone, but that's a phone drop. If you don't want to drop it on the floor, just hold your hand like this. Bam. That's a phone drop right there. And so with that being said, you talked about don't be a wannabe leader. And I like that. And we're going to cut to a quick commercial in a quick second and go and pay homage to a leader, Dr. Eric Kelly, that is leading the way, and also paying homage to our wonderful Dr. Money That Folds, Miss Hillary, because she was just featured on the Black Business Expo. Why? Because she is a leader. And so many, we were connected with so many leaders on the planet. And here's the thing, LaNell, that you're sharing with us. You've got to show up on every platform. In every private office conversation, whether you're out at Arby's or wherever you go, wherever you get your ribs, and if you lick your fingers, I don't know. You've got to show up and be a true leader and not just a wannabe leader. So I'm going to take a quick moment, take a quick break, and go to a leader. And we've got a commercial from another leader. And then we're going to come back and get our final question. And then we're going to go to words of wisdom. We'll be right back. All right. Can I get some energy, ladies? Woo, woo!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Come on, Dr. LaNell.
You know why Dr. Make Stuff Up is grooving so hard, because she getting ready to put Dr. LaNell back in the hot seat. Hey. So with that being said, we're going right to our final question of the night. And Dr. Make Stuff Up, do your thing.
Okay, so LaNell, how can leaders measure the effectiveness of their communication?
Simple, by the results that they get. I mean, it's just by the results. Just look at, do people want to be, when people see you coming, do they go, oh, and run across the street, or do they come up to you? If you have specific goals in the company, are you achieving them or not achieving them? Bottom line, results.
Wow. That's awesome.
Why are you trying to hurt our hot seat tonight, Doc? Yeah. You did great. And folks, I know I said that was going to be the last question, but Miss LaNell, we got some questions in here from our viewers. So let's go ahead and hit them. And we got a lot of 7s in there too. And I want to go right to this question. Dr. Make Stuff Up. You want to read that or statement, if you will?
Okay. Yeah. So Desiree Hammond said, I've had to bring the team in so I could tell them I made a mistake. Here's what it was. And here's how I plan to fix it. And then ask for their feedback. And it only worked because I had already built trust first. So that was that key thing about building trust. And if it wasn't there in the beginning, I'm not sure what to do.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that, Desiree. Yeah.
Thanks, Des. We appreciate you. And we've got Dr. Michael Freeland here. He said, good evening, ladies. Be intentional. I like that. And Dr. LaNell, would you like to read this comment?
Tell them how to ask a question using what instead of how. And what that is an example would be an underwriter underwrites a file and she has conditions. This is on a mortgage loan, and she would list conditions. And many times account executives in particular would go in and say, Why did you condition this? Why did you ask for this? Well, the minute that you say why, what happens is the other person goes to a defensive mode. You know, they feel that they have to defend themselves because it's why did you, you know? So one day I discovered, and looking through a file, I was trying to figure out why something was there. But instead of going, why did you, condition for this? My mind was, I wonder what created this. So when I spoke to the underwriter, I said, can you tell me what created this? And she went, oh, absolutely. Boop, 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 right here. And I went, huh, that's interesting. I just observed how she took the question, didn't get defensive. And so that's where, if you think about how you're going to phrase things, instead of saying, why did you, and asking things like, well, what created this condition, or what was the thought process in this? Can you share that with me? Then you're not defensive. Now you're just talking about what the specific thing. Phraseology.
I like that. And Angela, what did Angela Barnes say, Hill?
She says, everyone is a leader in some form. They're just leading themselves. That's a job.
Yeah. And what did Mike say? Dr. Make Stuff Up.
He said, don't be a wannabe leader. Take the time to learn the profession. Absolutely.
Oh my God. And we've got a lot of comments, and we may not get to them all tonight, but I want to take this one. Maria said, yeah, real leaders know their values and keep them at the forefront of their minds when leading. And sometimes, that's really hard. And LaNell, Mike said, drop the mic. I need my phone. I love it. And Dr. Freeland said the Black Business Expo is a major platform. Proud of you, Hillary. I love it. And I'm proud of you too. And I'm actually proud of myself because I was one of the moderators and one of the speakers. And I got to introduce Rodney Allen Rippey. And if you don't know who he is, look him up. He was one of the top child actors of his time. Just amazing. Yeah. And Angela Barnes, LaNell, what is Angela Barnes saying?
Yes, getting started where we are. Leaders are made, not born. That's true.
She gonna have to come on the show. And Maria got to come on the show. Leaders are made, not born. I love it. This is hilarious, true information. I love it. I love it. So look, folks, we have had an amazing time tonight. Well, let me just speak for myself. Let me communicate for me.
Come on.
I have had a great time tonight. And DJ Mike said, your effectiveness is measured by your results, short and sweet. I love it. And Angela said, funny. I can just speak for me. LaNell, you killed it. I'm just going to say, every question you were spot on. You just killed it. And this show is amazing. Short, sweet, to the point. But leaders, if you are a leader, you need to hit this on replay. And now we couldn't cover a lot of more questions because we only have such a short amount of time. But the questions we covered, in my opinion, they were super powerful. And so if you like the questions, you like what Dr. LaNell was saying, go ahead and put in number 10 because she is a 10. Put in number 10 and go ahead because you're going to win with Dr. LaNell because she is a 10 and it's time for you to win. And so for me, I've had a great time. I'm gonna put Dr. LaNell back in the hot seat, and then Dr. LaNell can put them in the hot seat. So Dr. LaNell, what did you gain mostly from the show tonight? How was it for you thus far tonight?
I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I love the energy because everything is energy. Communication has energy in it. And there's been a lot of energy here. And after being locked up for so long, it's just great to be around energy. So, and thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You said you was locked up?
Yes, with the COVID thing.
It's like we bring everybody on here. We don't care if you've been locked up now. I know, but it was hilarious the way you said it, Doc. She was like, "After being locked up for so long."
You got me.
Yes. So I'm happy. So who you gonna put in the hot seat? Is it gonna be Hillary, Dr. Hill, Dr. Money That Fold, or is it gonna be Dr. Make Stuff Up?
I think I'm going to put you on the hot seat.
Oh, but all right. Wait, I'm just saying what I thought about the show. But you're the guest, so go and tell me what you need me to do.
What do I need you to do?
Yes.
Oh,
But wait. Can I get a lifeline? Can I get a lifeline with my question? I'm just being clear.
no, I need you to I need you to keep being you, because you're out there, you're in your values, and you're making things happen. So what I would say is just keep being you. And we all need to keep being us, but the better version of ourselves, the best of ourselves. So yeah, you got off the hook there. Just keep being you. All of you.
All right. So who else you want to put in this?
That was so easy.
Yeah, I loved it, man. You was burning though. I was burning. I was like, woo, because I've talked to her in private, and we talked for an hour, 2 hours. I don't know.
We talked over 2 hours.
Yeah. So, man, God only knows what she was going to ask, but every question that you could ask, and every question you've answered tonight has been so spot on. So thanks, Dr. LaNell. You're just amazing. And I hope you put Hillary or Dr. Make Stuff Up in the hot seat right now, and let them get it.
Let's see.
All right.
We cut up on the show.
You know what? I'm going to ask what, and you can both answer this question, and whoever wants to go first. What's the most difficult thing you've ever had to deal with when it came to communicating?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
I got one. I'll go first. I had a young lady in my office who had a problem with body odor. It bothered everybody in the office. It especially bothered her coworker that their desks were close together on the other side from where my office was. So it didn't bother me as much as it bothered her. They talked all day, every day, went to lunch, all of that. But the young lady who worked with the girl came to my office and said, "Miss Hillary, could you please tell her that she smells, because it's really bad?" I said, "But you're with her every day. You're the one talking to her, friend going to lunch. Why don't you tell her?" More like, she said, "Oh, no, you really, please." I called the young lady in my office the next day, because she came in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and she's smelling. And that was a difficult. Ask me what all I said. I don't even know. How did I start? I can't tell you now. But I called her in my office, closed the door. She had a seat, and we had the most difficult conversation I ever had to have. How do you tell somebody that and still, I'm not coming from a place of being mean or unkind. Mm-hmm. Man, that it was kind of hard. But she didn't come in smelling like that anymore.
Yeah,
and we got along fine. But it was hard. I'm done.
Yeah.
Hot seat.
I've had a lot of difficult conversations, but one kind of funny one that I want to share is when I was in college, and I was the student manager at the food service, and I was in charge. I was a sophomore, and I was in charge of hiring and firing all the student workers, and I happened to have hired my boyfriend at the time, and he didn't show up for work. And so I had to fire him.
Oh, wow.
And that was like,
You
My boss was like, "You have to fire him," and I was like, "Me? What's that going to do to my relationship?"
I fired you today, honey, but we still get married.
Right? Yeah.
I fired you today, honey, but
Anyway.
could you make me something to eat? What's in that plate?
Right.
So how did
Actually,
the
I think it improved the relationship because he hated the job. So
Oh my
it's like, you
gosh.
freed me.
Oh my gosh. Well, folks, we're gonna take a quick break. We gonna come. No, we said we going right to. I love that Doctor make stuff up. I know you didn't make that up. Oh my God. I said we was gonna go right to words of wisdom so we can go to words of wisdom. But I want to read some of the comments before we go. I want to say thank you to everybody that joined the show this evening. Please make sure you share this with your friends because Dr. LaNell came and she dropped the mic, the wallet, and the mouse, and she just did an amazing job. So thank you so much. And we're so happy to have one of the crew on the show tonight, Dr. Make Stuff Up. And so Angel Barnes said, yes, the best version of self. Great hearing from all speakers today. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. And Dr. Freeland said, I was expecting to fry an egg on that heat. You got off, Lotus, next time. Woo, 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 woo. I better settle down, y'all, because next time Dr. LaNell come on, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to be in deep tapioca. So Maria said, someone called the cops because y'all just killed. And Angela said, everyone is on fire. Dr. Freeland said, y'all got me laughing. Too funny. And Angela Barnes said, yes, that's difficult. Had that convo, yes. And Apostle is here. She said, Lotus, you are the only one who can be a lady and yell and still sound like a lady. It's your gift for what only you can do. Mwah. Thank you, Apostle. Right back at you. Love you, girl. Smash LOL. And I appreciate all the knowledge and wisdom you ladies impart. Another phenomenal show, Dr. Lotus and Dr. Hillary, Dr. Money That Folds, and Dr. Make Stuff Up, and of course, Dr. LaNell. So with no further ado, we're going right back to you, Dr. LaNell, for your final words of wisdom.
Final words of wisdom. Just be intentional. Get up and be your best self. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't or you're not good enough or any of that, because you are. So just get up each day, excited about the day and being the best that you can be. Learn something. What can I learn today? How can I show up? How can I support someone else? How can I develop my leadership skills? And, just ask yourself those questions and then do one thing. If you just do one thing each day, you're good to go.
Wow. She came in dropping the mic and stuff, y'all. She just dropping the mic. So, Doctor, I love it. Doctor, make stuff up. Would you make some stuff up?
Yeah, so I just want to pick up on a thread that's been in the chat, which is that everybody is a leader. And so, just because certain people have roles and positions that would put them in a leadership position, every leader and real leader gets it by earning that leadership, by earning that trust that LaNell was talking about. And so every single person is a leader and will rise to the top when they are being their best selves. That's what I want to leave you with.
All right. She just came in and dropped the mic too. We got some mic drops tonight. I don't care what nobody say. And Dr. Money That Folds, what's going on?
Oh, well, this has been an awesome show tonight, Dr. LaNell. Thank you for coming on. And Mary Jo, it's really awesome to see you again. And so my final words for tonight, being a leadership is something that I learned. I've read so much about and still learning and reading about leadership. But one thing that I found the most important thing is understanding as a leader the weight of your words. the power of your words. And so with that, I too say you must be intentional, and watch, because your words can, like the Bible talks about, power, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And when you're trying to build a cohesive team, or a team that's based on respect and honoring one another and being glad to be on the team, you really do have to watch the words you speak, because they have more weight than you realize because of your position. And so speak life. That's what I have to say.
Awesome. I love that. Speak life. She says speak life. And so um let me see. Wow. I don't know how to follow that, y'all. Help me out. Um I would say my final words of wisdom tonight are what? Show up, because the come up is in the show up. And I like what Hillary said, the power of your words. You must be intentional. You've got to be intentional. You've got to be focused, and you've got to be fair, firm, and consistent, not just with others, but in your own life. Be fair to yourself and know that what you are doing for your life, what you are bringing to life, what life means to you is super duper important. Make sure that you speak life not only to other people, but speak life to yourself. Speak the best life to yourself that you can speak. Because, of course, tonight, Dr. LaNell laid it down. She talked about communication leadership in you. And really, at the end of the day, it's all about you and how you can become a better you with communication leadership and you. So until we meet again, we'll see you guys on Friday. And don't forget to check me out tomorrow night on Lotus Riche Ignites. Check Hill out. Hill's got a show coming up. Let them know what your show is, Hill. Tell them what's going on.
My show is the Vibrant Good Health Show, where I talk about all things to help you, help your body, help you live a more vibrant life by having more vibrant health.
All right.
Absolutely. 6 o'clock p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern.
All right. And don't forget, if you need a trampoline, get your trampoline.
7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
And don't forget, if you need a trampoline, get it. If you need a clarity call, Hillary's going to give you a free clarity call. Don't forget that that's happening. And also, please support this channel. Put your money where your mouth is. It takes time and it takes effort to bring these wonderful and extremely intelligent guests on. Dr. LaNell herself is here, and we're happy to have you here. And don't forget, Mary Jo, you've got a podcast. Please tell everybody about the podcast and how they can connect with the podcast.
Yeah, so I have a podcast. It's called Creative Directions for Living, and you can actually tune into it on creativedirectionsforliving.com/podcast. And in it, I interview people, and we talk about people who are taking a different road in life, and finding their own leadership and taking a direction that really lights them up and makes them sing. So if you're interested in hearing some really interesting stories, tune in. And what about LaNell? How can people reach LaNell?
Actually, you can reach me at LaNell at mindequityinternational.com. And it's LANELL at mind, MIND, equity, EQUITY, international, all spelled out, INTERNATIONAL.com. Or you can call me. I give my number too. It's 619-997-2249. 619-997-2249.
Say again,
619-997-2249.
All right. I love that. So check her out, call her up, 619-997-2249. and don't get left behind. Thank you so much. And until we meet again, have a wonderful life. And remember to take care of the news that you get, because guess what? It is news that you can use. Good night. Woo woo!
Good night, everyone.